Yes, sir. Did a bunch of stuff.
Nice.
We're going live on social media next week. Uh,
Ooh, huge shoes. D-Day is
yeah.
coming. Are you planning to do any like countdown stuff, or is it just gonna be
We're
the
gonna do like
day and then it's
we're gonna do
just
like a coming soon post on Saturday.
oh this Saturday?
Yeah, and then next Monday we're gonna post our first reel.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun stuff, fun
Weird. It's a
stuff.
weird feeling. I don't know how it's gonna go, but like, fuck it. At this point, it's just like you just gotta try and
Yeah,
just figure it out.
and it's gonna be your first day, kind of getting interaction. I guess even from people who you might not even know. So
Yeah, it's like it's kind of cringy. Like, hey, I'm Michael, and I just like quit my MBB consulting job to like start a business, something like that.
yeah, and I guess it'll probably end up being that your colleagues, past colleagues, get to watch the video as well. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see. But I'm a little nervous. It's been a little bit stressful.
mm,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
it's not easy. I'll say there's definitely been I think it's a little bit of a stressful time right now. We still don't even have our finalized logo or anything, so
mm-hmm,
um, we're in the works for that. We just finalized sort of a font and like a color. I think we're gonna do like a deep purple as our color because our rice is like a deep purple color, and
mm,
so we're gonna do like a deep purple and maybe like a deep purple background with like a light white color font.
mm,
So. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think this is really a moment where like you got to believe in something because you literally are just taking a shot in the dark.
mm-hmm.
You're just like you don't know how the perception is going to be because it's hard to be subjective when you're like it's hard to be objective when you're the one doing it.
Yeah. One thing I do notice is you seem a bit more tired than usual. Is that because of the past weekend, or is it just that pressure leading up to the things?
I think it's both for sure. Like I
Mm.
this weekend was a little tiring because like there's just a lot of drinking. I need to stop drinking.
Mhm.
It's Jimmy's birthday, so we celebrated on Friday and Saturday, and then and now that the timeline is actually coming closer.
Mhm.
Now it's like sort of crunch time, and so
Mhm.
I will say it's very. I think it's starting to get at me a little bit, and so uh, I like didn't really exercise, didn't get that much sleep,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is I guess like the very typical thing. But like it's very easy to say something like that, and then it's very different once you're actually doing it, and then you're just
Yeah.
like I'm. You always. I think the thing is like you just always feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's always things to do, but then you're like, oh shoot, like I spent an hour on my phone yesterday doing nothing, and then you feel really bad about it, and you're like, oh, fuck, I could have spent that time doing something productive. And so
Mhm.
now I think now that there's a sense of urgency, now there's like a very clear, like I know exactly what I have to do for next week, and it's a lot. Uh, just got to get it done.
Yeah. I mean, especially the past weekend, I know one of your friend came over from New York, and it just seems like kind of listening to your schedule. How do you find balancing everything? Since like I know like it's crunch time for you leading up to the launch, but also there's also things in life where you want to be there for your friends. So how's that been, especially with the recent I guess birthday of your co-founder?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously it's his birthday, so like we try to, he's I think he's been celebrating a little bit here and there, but like for me right now, there is really like nothing else. I get there really is no balance, right? Like things just have to get done, and like
Mm-hmm.
if I don't do them or if we don't do them, then like it doesn't get done, and so it's just you just have to get it done, no matter what it takes, and so it's a bit of a yeah, like it's tough. It's tough because like it's similar to studying almost, right? Like you can never study too much. I don't think that's really a thing. Like you just study up to a point, but like it doesn't really stop, right? This is the thing that's like the big transition between college and work is once it hits 5 p.m. or whatever in corporate time, you're done with work. So you log off and you don't think about it unless you're in consulting and you do think about it. But and then you don't think about it until the next day. Um, but like this just doesn't end, right? So like I theoretically we probably need to do a better job of this. We don't really have any like protected time, meaning like we don't really have a weekend because the times that I can actually work on this business is the weekend. And so that's usually when I'm the one driving a lot of the work for my friends, and my friends have full-time jobs. So like for them, the weekend is the weekend, but then I'm asking them to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a weird thing. So like I'm trying to find like some time either Monday or Tuesday to like rest and sleep. I think sleep is the big thing. So like I usually sleep a lot either today or tomorrow.
Mm,
Just like take a big nap.
mm,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a really now you have to create your own structure,
Mm,
and so I think that's a little bit of a tougher thing.
yeah. Do you feel like you're in some ways sacrificing a part of, I don't know, your life right now in any areas?
I don't think so. I mean, like I've thought about it, but like I don't know what I would be like doing otherwise. I feel like I've done all the things I hung out with a lot of friends in college, did all the stuff that you do when you're in college and post college and had the corporate experience for the first 3 years at a
Mm-hmm.
very nice firm and did all of that. And now at this point in my life, a lot of my friends are starting to settle down. There's a few friends of mine getting engaged and things like that. And so our lives, I think, naturally drift apart. So this is again another point in life where like after college, you sort of split ways with the people that you've hung out a lot in college.
Mm,
I think after 3 or 4 years in corporate, I guess it's a little bit different age-wise because I went to the military, but I think after like the first 3 or 4 years, then like people do another transition where people will either move or they will move jobs or they will have, they will get married or so then your groups start to change again. It's not like I was hanging out a lot with my friends on the weekends or anything like that anyway. I was trying to exercise a lot and like I did hang out with friends, but like it wasn't anything crazy. It's like I sacrifice one dinner or two dinners on the weekends now to
mm,
do something else. And I think because I am satisfied with where I'm going in terms of like my, life. I think
mm,
I have no regrets. I also think that now is the time to do it where I have no responsibilities to anything. I have no obligations. I have no debt. Not yet, at least. I have no family. I don't have a wife, I don't have a family that I need to take care of. I don't have any like really valuable assets or anything like that. So it's like, and I'm young and it's like you messed up a few times and like I could always go back to corporate, I think in some capacity.
mm,
So I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything.
mm,
Um, but I will say like there's always two trains of thoughts. One is that I'm like I chose to do this, and so it is my own decision, and I have no problems with it, and like I'm gonna make it work. But the second train of thought is it's very unstable, it's very unpredictable. But that's sort of what you sign up for.
mm, mm.
I
Do
also
you?
have technically also I haven't started yet, so like I make it sound like I've done a lot of things. I haven't started, so
Yeah.
I think the harder part is to come.
Mm,
Or even right now, I think it's not as obviously it's not as easy as I thought.
mm, mm. Do you feel like any of your past, I guess, habits or lessons learned in your life have been helpful for kind of the preparation stages right now?
I don't know. Um, I hope so. I again, I think it's just because like you never know what the results are going to be, and I guess you shouldn't anchor too much on the results because the idea is just don't give up. You just keep consistent, you just keep at it, and you make changes where you need to, take in the feedback when you get them, and things like that. Um, so I'm not sure. I would hope so.
Mm,
I think there's a lot of things in terms of like not necessarily confidence, but just the thought thinking that like I think I can do this
mm,
mentality. I think that's been really instilled from my corporate and also from even before corporate back in
mm,
college, like things that I've done. I think it's just if you believe you can do something and you're willing to take the risk for it, then most
mm,
of the time I think it works out okay.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I know some people say that startup or starting something on your own is for everyone. Some people do say that not everyone should be a founder or like a new business owner. What is your take on that?
Oh, I'm sure it's true. I don't even know if I should be one. I don't know. I once we start it and we do this for a few years and see how intense and not fun it is, then
Hmm.
we'll go back and adjust. But one thing I know for sure is that everybody says the same thing about consulting, especially with when I was at the companies that I was at, then it's always the same thing. It's like not not everyone, it's not for everyone.
Mm,
And it wasn't for me. And so I left and now I'm trying something new.
mm,
And I don't know, maybe if this isn't it, then I guess I will find something else to do or,
mm,
you know, find a different path. But I know for sure that the hospitality industry is really, really fun for me. And so I will
mm.
like this way.
And what part makes you excited for that industry? Do you see like a commonality that kind of led you to that conclusion?
Yeah, I'm first off, I am a people pleaser. I think by nature, I care for other people. I want to make sure that they're taken care of, and I want to be the one to do that. I want to make sure that everyone's happy. And I really like food, and I think just intrinsically, just food is fascinating to me. And so now, in hindsight, when I think about those two things, then I think it makes a very natural correlation to hospitality and food and
Mm,
restaurants in particular. It's not a glamorous job. I I don't think anybody thinks that, and it's certainly not. You're on your feet all day. It's a very physical job. It's a very intense job at times when you're behind on orders and people are yelling out things and you're behind on a million things and every second counts. Like a very intense job, and it's certainly not for everyone. But so far, I have definitely enjoyed my experience. It hasn't always been great. I've definitely had my fair share of learnings, but up to this point so far, I have not been like, this is not the path. Like been very much, this is what I signed up for, and I'm very happy doing it.
mm. And it seems like to me, like you know yourself well. Do you feel that way about yourself? Like, do you think you know yourself very well? And if so, like, what do you think took part in that?
Yeah, I always go through phases. There are times where I think I know myself very well.
Mhm,
There are also times where I have a lot of doubt, as as it is natural. I will say the part that I do feel that I know myself is I know for sure what I don't want and what I don't like. There are very clear differences in what I don't like and what I don't want to do. Sometimes, though, what that means is just because you cancel out all the negative doesn't mean it leaves you with one good positive. There's a lot of things that I do like and want to do. I just don't know how to get to all of it. There's a lot of things I want to do,
mhm,
but I think I have to stay very focused on one thing at a time
mhm,
and just fight for it, right? Like just take the risk, fight for it, try your best. Whatever happens, happens. At the end of the day, this is a not the most positive thought, but your time here is limited. And so I always go back to the fact that when I'm 75 and 80 and I've lived pretty much all of my life, and at that point, all that really matters is people and relationships and my family pretty much. I want to look back and just think that I've done something fun with my life and that I have a fun story and that I tried things that I wanted to try
mhm,
when I wanted to try them because there's only one. Like you only get one life, you only get one chance.
yeah,
And so at a higher level, I think because it's of those thoughts that I think I'm very like I think when times get a little bit challenging for me, and although again, I haven't started anything, so I don't know why I keep but like when things get a little bit tough, I just think back to the fact that at least I'm trying something and that 75 when I'm 75, I'm not going to look back and be like, "Oh wow, I could have done something then, but I chose not to because I was too scared."
mm,
And then I could have done this at 35, but then maybe I had a family there, and then that becomes irresponsible, and that leads to a lot of issues. So I'm glad of what I'm doing,
mm,
but the result is yet to be shown.
hmm. Yeah, I think no, that I definitely agree with a lot of the things you mentioned, and I think especially for me, I'm soon to graduate college, so I think some of those thoughts are in my head as well. A fun statement that one of my professors recently told us in class was that I forgot the exact value, but it was basically saying that when he met this, very successful person who is in his like 70s, 80s, and he was like, "Oh, you know what? Like one thing I'm really jealous about of you guys, like college students, is like you have a lot of time." And I've heard things like that before, but the way he said it was that I would be like, sure, my bank account might look like I don't know, like whatever $1 million, but like for you college students, like your 20s, you wake up every day with like 80 million seconds in your bank account. And he said it in like seconds, so it's a larger number. But it was like, hey, like, yeah, I wake up with, let's just say, 80 million seconds in my bank account. Wow. And he was like, hey, like, look at me. Like, I don't have 80 million seconds. I probably have like, well, 100,000 seconds. Or I don't know. I don't know the conversion. But basically saying that, hey, like, you are rich in time. And just the way like he put it at the time just made sense for me. I was like, oh yeah, like I've heard people say, you know, when you're young you have a lot of time, but when you put it into numbers, it just kind of clicked for me. So I was like, oh yeah, like I'm actually pretty rich, like in time.
Yeah, I think that's a great, it's a great. I think everybody, it's a common thing. I think as you get older, people just look at young people and they go, that it's wow, like you have so much time, you have so much energy, you should do things. And for me personally, I think there's a lot of people out there, especially the people that are around me in consulting, that were always like, the name value matters and pay matters and they like stability and everything's great. But I think for me personally, there's something that I want to do. And I think I tend to choose the path that is less traveled, generally speaking. And I don't think I'm actually as risk averse as I make myself believe.
Mm,
Although I will say my mind is not always the most creative. I'm not the most open to change. I'm not the most open to different things. I'm a very structured person. I do very well in a system. I don't know how good I am at making systems. I guess I will
mm,
find out. But because I'm okay with taking some more risk than I think most people, that's why I'm working a minimum wage job now, and I feel very good about it. And I feel like I'm working towards something of my own name and value rather than taking from someone else's or working for someone else's name and value.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I've there were a lot of points that what you just said that I agreed to, and I see myself in. So, um, yeah, I gotta agree in a lot of those terms. Hmm.
Well, I will
One,
say, oh,
yeah.
if you want to make kimbap, man, there's other
Yeah,
concepts I want to do. So I'm sure there will be lots of opportunities, but just got to get started. I feel like that's always the battle. You
yeah,
just have to get started. You have to do something. So
hmm, yeah. No, I think once again, I think it's also that like that has to click in your head. Like, I mean, I'm sure you probably heard of that before as well from someone else. Like, you have to make, uh, uh, yeah, you just have to take the leap, or just do it. These phrases around you. But I think through your experience being at the firm you did, and you went through that corporate experience, I think it made sense for you, that, oh, like, I think this is the time, or you just reach the level where we thought, okay, like I want to do what I want to do. So
yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
super important. And I think nowadays, especially like me, seeing my friends, talking about where we're gonna go after college. Some people have a very defined path. They're like, okay, I'm gonna go to this, do that for a few years, and then I'm gonna go to PE, do that, and I'm gonna make my own fund, and things like that. And nowadays, like, I'm like, like, I wholeheartedly support, and but at the same time, like, you just never know how life turns out. And I think it's just, yeah, people's priorities change, values change, and I guess when
that's
you,
great. That's great. There's a ton of people that, yeah, that's, I mean, just because I chose this path and just because I made the decisions I did doesn't mean anything for anyone else. Like
yeah,
I'm not that, like I'm not special. I'm not different than anyone else. I just chose to make decisions that I think are less common.
mm,
But I'm just one person. There's also my Instagram feed nowadays and all my social media is full of, like, I think the algorithm got messed up for me. It's just full of people who are doing the same thing. So it's
mm.
just everybody that I see on Instagram now has just quit their jobs and they're doing, and all of them are doing relatively well on social media. Otherwise, I wouldn't really see them. And
Mm,
they're popping off. And there's a lot. Every post I see when I do my little scrolling, all of are doing the same thing I am. So I'm not, I'm not not that different. I think there's something that I want to do though, and I want to bring some Korean food to Chicago, and that's it. I think social media has to be a part of that,
Hmm.
and I'm okay with putting myself out there. I think that's one of the best marketing strategies, especially in this day and age with social media. And so that's the plan.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Yeah, I think this is just kind of we mention every week, but just a great recording of this moment because I think it's always so like last week I had this class. So I'm taking a class with Pete Carroll, which is like an NFL coach for Las Vegas Raiders right now. So he flies in every week with our class of 55 students, and it's a great class. Just seeing him in person, the energy and his kind of philosophy. And the past few, well, the entire semester, every week we would have Pete, but also we'll have guests. Like we had Steve Kerr come in, like Golden State Warriors,
Wow.
like of course virtually,
Oh yeah.
but we also
That's
had
so
Tom
cool.
Brady. Like we had some really crazy people on our
Yeah,
and
what
also
that's like that's insane.
yeah, no, it's insane. Like it, and it's not just like what like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's like the entire like an hour, and our class is 2 hours long, so sometimes a bit more than that. So we get to ask like Q and A's like in person, well like virtually, but and some people actually do come in as well. But like meeting these people, it has been super inspirational. Like you, it's just a different type of feeling that you get when you like meet the goats of their of the industries. But also like last week, it was just like some of our peers. So like our class, a few of our classmates are musicians, and it was a class on like musicians and how they compete in their lives to become the best version of themselves. And I thought last week's class was super special for me because in the past we've been seeing people who already reached that status of like being the best. But I felt like last class was more of a reality for me where I'm looking at these great talents with potential and them talking about their practice process, them going through the scales every day so that they can shine in that moment, and things like that. And I was super inspired because it just felt real to me that, oh, like these people are in the same process as me. They're getting to that I don't know, level of excellence that they want to do. And for me, meeting you through these Zoom calls every week is kind of a replication of that. That hey, like it would be cool if I interview you when you get to that point, and be like, hey, so how'd you start 82 Kimbap? But like what I'm doing right now is I'm following the journey. I'm following a great talent, someone who has great potential that I personally really believe in. So for me, sure, not everything we talk about may be the answer, but I think it's just that, hey, well, Michael currently is thinking about this, and things are gonna change, grow, adapt, and probably lead to something that we might not even imagine being right now. Like maybe it's completely different. So for me, it's just yeah, really, I'm lucky to be speaking with you at this really
No,
important time.
I appreciate it. I I am flattered that you say that. I appreciate it. I think for me too, I think this is gonna be great because I'm gonna look back, hopefully at these and later down life, I'll be like, oh, because I'm sure I'll remember what I was feeling in this week, and it's a week before the launch of social media. I'm sure hindsight 2020, right? I'll probably look back after I've done all this and then like, oh, like this is how I was feeling. Like maybe I should have done this. But I will say, I also when you said the thing with Tom Brady and the top of the industry and versus the people who are not at the top of the industry, there's a like a Fields mathematician, mathematician Fields medal like mathematician, very successful. He's Korean. He
Oh,
did an interview once where he was talking about like the idea of confidence and the idea of having it's like proven confidence, right? People who have done stuff, it's easy to have confidence because you've accomplished stuff and you've done stuff. The real trick is, and the real sort of the thing to do is the unproven confidence, right? When you don't have anything And you need to be able to have that confidence to keep going because what ends up happening if you get confidence from things that are proven over and over again is that you start to rely that level of confidence on the things that you've done and on the things that you've proven. And so when there comes a time when something doesn't work out, then all of a sudden your confidence goes to nothing
Mm.
because you've already tied that self-worth and self-confidence into the things that are being proven out. And so his whole thing was like you need to be confident without all of those things
Oh.
because if you don't have that confidence when you don't have all those things, or then your confidence will dip to zero. And so I thought that was very important, and I resonated with that a lot because when you don't have anything and when you don't see success, I think that's the time to be confident and to keep pushing. Because later down the life, when you are successful and something happens again and you fail, then you can keep going, right? Because you know that you can, even without the proof.
Wow, that is very powerful, huh? The way he talk. Oh, I've heard about him. I don't think I've watched that interview or video before, but wow, just to kind of think of that way.
Yeah, I really like that. Because there are moments. Also, I will say the thing about leaving a current company and trying to start something new is that people say it's a very lonely path, but I will say maybe loneliness is not the word. It just feels very isolated. Like I feel very isolated from the rest of the world. Feel very
Mm.
isolated from all the people that are around me, especially all
Mm.
the people that are my age. And it's twofold. I think the first part is that I don't have the time anymore or the sort of the I don't know, the luxury of being able to just hang out with friends, or I don't allow myself that luxury of having time off and just spending a lot of time with friends, getting
Mm.
drunk and
Mm.
doing fun things. And I think the second part is I just don't resonate with a lot of the things that people say anymore because they're not relevant to me. Like when I meet with old coworkers, they obviously talk about work and the things that are happening at work, but I just don't resonate with that anymore because that's not relevant to me. There's things that are on my mind that I need help with that I am trying to do that is very relevant for me, but it's not relevant for them. And so that level of connection just sort of disappears.
Mm.
And I think just across the board, that level of connection between people who are trying to start things is probably a lot higher. People don't have the time to meet with each other and connect on that level that often. And so I think it becomes a very isolated world. Like I'm in my own bubble the whole time.
Mm.
I think that also adds to the element of I can't, it's harder for me to be objective about certain things just because I'm so into the details of what I'm doing.
Mm.
I think that is a little bit of a that is something that I'm feeling as I'm going through this is you're really lonely. I think loneliness is not necessarily the right word, but you're very isolated.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think that's well put. I think I used to describe something like that in my life as well, where, huh, like maybe I'm just lonely, but I think isolation might be a better word.
Yeah, and maybe they're the same thing. I don't know. I just to me it feels a little different than being just lonely, right? It's not the fact that I need more people. It's not the fact that I want to have a significant other. It's a very different kind of loneliness, and it feels to me more like isolation than it does
Mhm.
anything else.
But I bet when you meet with people that maybe are trying to achieve something very similar to you, or maybe when you're talking with these restaurant owners who are I guess on their own challenge of introducing Korean food to Chicago, like do you feel the connection there like that?
I feel connection. I also feel very inspired. I feel
Mm.
very happy that there are other people out there like that, and I have the connection to be surrounded by people like that. I will say that doesn't happen very often though, because
Mm.
obviously there's a lot of work that's involved on both parties. And
Mm.
so I will say it is great to have a network like that. This is the whole point of a network, right? Is always
Mm.
to be able to ask questions like that. Again, I keep in touch with the Fast Casual, the founder of the Fast Casual chain, and she's been wonderful. And I still
Mm.
ask questions like this today. Um, so I try to keep in touch. I think that's more on me when you don't have much. So
Mm.
I think I think next week we'll meet on Sunday, so it'll be the day before the launch, and
Oh.
so it'll be very very nerve-wracking, but I'm sure it'll be good because on Monday we're gonna plan to launch, and then we're gonna have two videos that release that week, as well
Mm.
as a couple of posts, and then the following week we're gonna have two more videos. So we'll have something on the books by then.
Mm. Yeah, that's a very exciting new stage of the journey of 82 Gimbal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very looking forward to it. And
Thanks, man. Should be
yeah,
fun.
yeah, we'll see. Next time when we call, we'll have some feedback on
Yeah.
how social media's been. If it made you into a overnight star.
I I genuinely I hope it doesn't become like an overnight like it's not going to be, but I hope it doesn't because then I'm not going to know what to do. So I
Mm-hmm.
always I think steady growth is always, and I guess this is what people want, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
they don't, steady growth is good.
Yeah,
I
no,
I would
I
much
definitely
rather.
agree.
Yeah.
Definitely agree. Yeah, well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you,
Cool.
Michael, once again. And yeah, looking forward to the first post, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, brother. See you next week.
See ya.